The announcement of new mentors has once again caused the audience of NBC's The Voice to become extremely excited. This is because the show is about to enter its newest season. Many fans are perplexed by the choice to include Michael Bublé and Cynthia Erivo on the rotating panel of stars this time around. This decision has left many viewers scratching their heads. There is a widespread perception that these choices do not entirely correspond with the spirit of The Voice or the people that watch it, despite the fact that both of them are indisputably brilliant and successful. At this moment, everyone is wondering, why are these two being chosen? Furthermore, and this is of the utmost importance, they make sense for a show that has so meticulously assembled its panel of mentors throughout the course of its existence. In the context of The Voice, the function of the mentor is one that has developed over the course of the show's history. At the beginning of the performance, well-known figures from the music industry such as Christina Aguilera, Adam Levine, and Blake Shelton shared their experiences. This group of individuals was not only well known for their achievements, but they also had a wealth of experience working in the music industry, and the star power that they possessed lent an additional degree of credibility to their work. Both as a performer and as an artist, they were well versed in the intricacies of what it takes to achieve success in the music industry. A degree of knowledge that made the guidance of mentors such as Pharrell Williams, John Legend, and Alicia Keys extremely valuable was brought by these individuals. It seemed as though The Voice was putting the hopefuls in front of artists who had truly earned their stripes, people who had gone through the grind and could speak to the challenges that the industry actually faces in the real world. Both Michael Bublé and Cynthia Erivo have arrived. Is Michael Bublé a singer who is appropriate for the future? In the event that you squint and bend your head in the appropriate direction, the addition of Bublé as a mentor makes perfect sense. The soft voice of the Canadian crooner, together with his timeless versions of jazz and pop tunes, has earned him a lot of support. However, his music is primarily aimed at a specific demographic of older, more traditional listeners, and it does not really fit into the more generic categories of pop, rock, R&B, or country music that candidates on The Voice often represent. There is no denying that Bublé's career has been extremely successful, but it has been constructed on a particular formula, which consists of classic ballads, big band standards, and romantic crooning that harkens back to a bygone era. When it comes to his vocal ability, Bublé is unquestionably able to provide guidance on methods of technique, phrasing, and breath control. On the other hand, how much does that apply to the broad array of contestants on The Voice, who frequently gravitate toward contemporary styles and genres? A rising number of viewers who are familiar with Bublé's work are beginning to question the significance of his participation in a competitive reality program that is centered on up-and-coming musicians who are intent on achieving commercial success. Despite the fact that his achievement is notable, it is difficult to understand how his mentorship can be applied to the younger and more varied applicants that generally dominate the show. His voice and performing style are more geared toward an older market. Although the singer's ability to enchant and fascinate audiences with his deep baritone is his greatest skill, the question remains whether or not he is aware of what it takes to be successful in the extremely competitive pop and hip-hop entertainment industry of today. It is true that Bublé has experience performing in a variety of musical styles. Nevertheless, the purpose of The Voice is not so much to showcase well-known singers who are already well established in specific areas, as it is to identify undiscovered talent that has the potential to break through into popular music. There is a possibility that the audience will have a tough time reconciling the traditional appeal of Bublé with the contemporary and ever-evolving environment of popular music. The incredible talent that is Cynthia Erivo, but does she fit the bill? As for Cynthia Erivo, she is another. The British singer and actress is an exceptionally gifted lady who possesses an incredible voice and a story of accomplishment that is both inspiring and motivating. On Broadway as well as in the film industry, Erivo has repeatedly demonstrated her worth. She received critical praise for her performance as Sally in The Color Purple, and since then she has gone on to gain awards such as the Tony Award, the Grammy Award, the Emmy Award, and a nomination for the Academy Award. As with Bublé, the subject of whether or not she should be on The Voice continues to be a matter of debate. Without a doubt, Erivo comes from a musical family tree. One of the reasons she has become such a recognized artist in the film industry, as well as the theatrical industry, is because of her ability to combine emotional depth with vocal strength. Erivo, on the other hand, is not necessarily interested in the mainstream genres that the competitors on The Voice are striving for. This is similar to Bublé's specialty. She has a wide spectrum of musical styles, from gospel and soul to classical crossover, and she is a significant force on Broadway. Her voice has been developed specifically for vocal performances on stage and not necessarily for the radio-friendly pop hits that candidates on The Voice often perform. There is a possibility that Erivo's participation on the show presents an opportunity to serve as a mentor to vocalists, with a particular focus on vocal storytelling and dramatic interpretation. Given that contestants on The Voice sometimes concentrate on commercial appeal, the question arises as to whether or not Erivo's extreme theatrical manner is truly in line with the desired outcome of the show. To add insult to injury, it is difficult to deny the fact that her career has been mostly focused on particular projects in the cinema and theater industries. It is still unclear whether her experience in a specialized style of musical performance is applicable to the broad-ranging pop cultural milieu that The Voice cultivates, despite the fact that she is undeniably a versatile artist. In addition, although Erivo's star power is growing, it is not as widespread as that of some of the other coaches on the show. This leaves fans questioning whether or not her presence is sufficient to generate the kind of viewership that The Voice has gotten accustomed to. Are she able to achieve the same level of widespread popularity as, for example, John Legend or Blake Shelton, whose careers have encompassed a variety of musical genres and have been prominent in mainstream popular culture? The feeling of consistency in mentoring relationships. The mentoring interaction might be considered to be one of the most significant components of The Voice. Viewers tune in not only to watch the candidates perform, but also to observe their development as seen through the eyes of seasoned mentors. The chemistry that exists between the coaches is quite important, and as the program progresses from one season to the next, there is frequently a feeling of continuity. Given that Bublé and Erivo have joined the cast, it appears as though there is a slight disconnection between the show's past and the new cast members. In contrast to the former mentors who brought with them a combination of experience in the mainstream music industry, knowledge of a wide range of genres, and expertise that was approachable to aspiring artists, the new arrivals appear to be considerably distanced from the show's primary objective. By no means is this to imply that Bublé and Erivo do not possess anything of value to give. On the contrary, they do. Nevertheless, it is difficult to ignore the mismatch between their specialized and rather limited artistry and the type of guidance that The Voice competitors require in order to navigate a highly commercialized music market. Throughout its history, The Voice has consistently been successful in locating mentors who are able to communicate with a large number of people while also bringing something novel and innovative to the table. The fact that Bublé and Erivo are participating in the show, despite the fact that it is thrilling for their own fan bases, makes us wonder if the show has deviated from its primary objective of finding big pop artists to launch their careers. There is a possibility that The Voice is moving toward a model that is more expansive and experimental. However, it is not yet apparent whether this will be well received by the public that has been supporting the show for almost 3 decades. At the end of the day, the inclusion of Bublé and Erivo to the lineup of mentors may simply be a means for The Voice to broaden its range of offers and provide a different kind of mentoring experience. What will determine whether or not this new strategy will result in the same level of success as prior seasons is something that can only be determined by the passage of time. For the time being, however, the combination appears to be less of a natural progression and more of an attempt to mix things up, without properly examining whether or not it makes sense in the context of the show's long-standing formula.